Hi, everybody. I'm Marea Goodman, a licensed midwife, queer mama, and the founder of PregnantTogether, which is an awesome membership community for pregnant people. On this channel, I provide you with the information you need to thrive during your pregnancy. In this video, we're going to talk all about nutrition during pregnancy. I know so many people wonder about what to eat during pregnancy, what is actually safe, and what foods they should eat more of and avoid. These videos are going to share a bunch of ideas for meals and snacks that I use regularly to feed myself and my family, and that I also recommend to my pregnant clients. So the first thing I'll say before starting this video is that as long as you are eating enough food during pregnancy and focusing as best you can on eating whole foods that are not too processed, you're going to be just fine. I know that there are some people that can get a little fixated on how to eat during pregnancy, and so I feel cautious about giving advice around food, especially for people with a history of eating disorders, because it can be really triggering for some people to focus on food in this way. But I also know that there are plenty of folks that have questions about what to eat during pregnancy, and so I hope that this video serves more as inspiration and not like a rigid formula about how you need to eat. Your body is amazing at providing nutrients for your baby, and babies are so profoundly resilient. So even if you are only able to eat crackers, or in my case, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in your first trimester, your baby is going to be just fine. Okay, so the first tip in eating for pregnancy is enjoying lots of fruits and vegetables. This is pretty standard advice around nutrition for basically all human beings. In my family, about once a week, I try to make a big stir fry with a bunch of vegetables that we have in the fridge, and then I'll use that during meals throughout the week. I especially love having zucchini and kale. I feel like they go well with most meals, and I just lightly saute them in some olive oil with maybe some onion and garlic and season it with a little salt and pepper. And I make sure not to overcook the veggies so that I can potentially reheat them for another meal. Another veggie trick that my almost 2-year-old loves is carrot salad. I'll just grate a bunch of carrots and sometimes add an apple or two to sweeten it up. And then I put apple cider vinegar, olive oil, salt and pepper, and sometimes I'll put some hemp seeds or sesame seeds for a little extra protein. And my kids really, really love it. Okay, so the next staple of awesome nutrition during pregnancy is eating complex carbs. So in my family, we make a lot of quinoa in the rice cooker, and I usually cook it in chicken broth. I buy chicken bone broth from Costco, where I get most of my groceries because we have a big family. I like to make extra quinoa so that I can use leftovers for stir fries for an easy side dish. You might be noticing a theme here. I definitely use leftovers to my advantage to help make my life easier. I know during pregnancy, it's common to get really hungry, so I recommend just having a lot of easy to access meals in your fridge, so that you don't get too hungry. And this can also help regulate your blood sugar, which can reduce nausea in the first trimester. So the thing about quinoa is that it can be really messy if you have little kids and hard to sweep up. If you have little kids that tend to throw food everywhere, but it's really delicious and it's high in protein. Brown rice is another good option if you want to shake things up. So let's talk about meat. I know there are a lot of vegetarians who have super healthy pregnancies. And I also know that a lot of people, a lot of my clients who have been vegetarian for many years before getting pregnant gravitate towards eating more meat during pregnancy because the body needs a lot of protein while growing a whole new human being. There are definitely ways to get enough protein with a vegetarian diet through eating nuts, seeds, and other sources of plant-based protein, but it does require a lot of work and intention. So for a lot of people, getting meat into your diet can be helpful. Bone broth, as I mentioned, is super healthy and nutrient dense. In my family, I love to roast a whole chicken, and we eat that for dinner one night, make tacos with the leftovers the next night, and then I use the bones from the chicken to turn it into bone broth in my crock pot. We also eat so many eggs in my family. We buy 2 36 packs from Costco and go through them basically every week. Eggs are such an awesome food in pregnancy because they're high in protein and also great at regulating your blood sugar levels, which, as I mentioned, is really important for easing nausea in the first trimester. So I like to boil a bunch of eggs eggs early in the week and then have them as snacks or for a quick breakfast. Sometimes I'll also make homemade egg bites where you just saute a little kale or spinach and maybe add a little bacon, add some cheese, mix it with the eggs. Then you just bake them in muffin tins. They are super delicious and easy, a really easy protein-rich breakfast, and it's especially convenient when you're breast or chest feeding or you're pregnant and you're like I was just waking up so hungry. You can just put a couple of those in the microwave and have a quick and easy breakfast that will keep you full for a while. I also recommend eating beans during pregnancy, which are a super healthy source of plant-based protein and complex carbs. Our crock pot is pretty much always on in our family. We buy dried beans and we soak them overnight, switch out the water, and then put them on to cook so that we can have beans that night. And we just leave them going on for about 12, 16 hours so we can eat them for a breakfast and throughout a whole day. It's a really good side dish to our meals. After that, we put them in the fridge and refry them with onions a day or two later. It's really a great healthy snack during pregnancy. I took a nutrition course for pregnancy recently for my continuing education for my midwifery license. And one thing that the nutritionist kept saying was that liver is the most nutrient dense and super powered food during pregnancy. I know a lot of people might feel grossed out by liver, but personally, I love it. I like to make pate with organic chicken liver, and I'll link to some really good recipes in the description below the video. We eat it with crackers, and my kids really love it as well. Another tip is to eat tons of healthy fat during pregnancy. So things like avocados, walnuts, olive oil, and fish are really great sources of healthy fats. We buy canned wild salmon from Costco and make salmon salad out of it. I add diced onions, a little bit of mayonnaise, lemon juice, salt and pepper, and capers, and my family and I eat it with tortilla chips. My kids absolutely love it, and it's a really, really easy meal to make that's super healthy. So another thing I'm always talking to my clients about is staying hydrated. Your body requires so much water during pregnancy to make amniotic fluid and to help your body release toxins. So drinking tons of water is really helpful to your overall health and well-being. I always try to keep my water bottle with me so that I can drink it throughout the day. And for whatever reason, I love drinking out of a straw. So my water bottle really helps me stay hydrated. Later in pregnancy, it might also be helpful to add some sugar-free electrolytes that you can buy from a store, or you can make electrolyte water from scratch. I'll also include a recipe for that in the description. Another pro tip I share with all of my clients is to get some Floridix. A lot of people can get anemic during pregnancy, which just means that the iron levels in your blood are low. So when your iron levels are low, people can feel extra exhausted and more easily irritated. And since our blood volume nearly doubles during pregnancy, it's really common to have low iron. So Floridix is a really awesome food-based liquid iron supplement that is available at most health food stores as well as online. It's not too expensive. And what's so cool about Floridix is that when your body needs it, it will taste sweet. And when your body doesn't need it anymore, it will get that kind of yucky, rusty iron taste. So your body will communicate with you. When I gave birth, I lost a fair amount of blood, and so I was pretty anemic afterwards. So I drank a lot of Floridix in the weeks after. I could tell after a couple of weeks of doing that supplement regularly that it started to taste kind of gross, and my body let me know when I didn't need to take it anymore. That was really cool to communicate with my body in that way. Another tip I'll share with you is that I recommend finding a prenatal vitamin that has folate instead of folic acid. Some people, like myself, have a gene mutation called MTHFR, which makes it so that we can't metabolize folic acid, and it can actually block our body's ability to absorb folate, which is a necessary nutrient for our babies. So when choosing your prenatal vitamins, I always recommend going for one that has folate, which is a natural form of this nutrient and not the synthetic form. Folate can also be found in foods like eggs, dark leafy greens, and you guessed it, liver. Okay, let's talk about treats. I am all about enjoying the good things in life, and I know personally that during pregnancy, desserts can taste extra delicious. I will also say, as somebody who grew a 10-pound baby by eating tons of grilled cheese sandwiches and coconut bliss ice cream, that it may be worth it to think about some alternatives to indulging in dessert all the time, especially in the third trimester when the baby starts putting on those extra pounds. Treats like dark chocolate are really healthy for you because they have antioxidants and not too much sugar, and in my personal opinion, can be super satisfying. Another idea that was shared with me from a midwife colleague is to make a sort of healthy version of chocolate ice cream where you take frozen ripe bananas and mix them in the blender with some cacao powder and agave or maple syrup, some sea salt, and you can also add some cacao nibs at the end. It makes a really nice, super nutrient dense and indulgent ice cream-like treat. Your kids will probably love it too. So it's good to be thoughtful about the indulgent treats that we put into our bodies, but it's also good to eat your favorite foods in moderation because life is short and food is delicious. So I hope that there are some useful ideas in this video for you and that it will support you to be the healthiest version of yourself in all the ways during your pregnancy. Feel free to share some other go-to recipes or food ideas that you have loved during your pregnancy in the comments below. I would love to hear about it. And if you want to learn more about Pregnant Together and our awesome growing community for pregnant people, you can check it out here.